everyone.
Hello.
And welcome to Kirsty and Bryony's Comfort Zone.
I am Kirsty.
And I am Bryony, and we are on Neuromancers exploring dreams. Wait, no, that's not what it is. That's the other one. That's telling the future from dreams. We're on Neuronauts, exploring dreams and the world of tomorrow.
We're dream wizards.
We are dream wizards. I wonder what the Greek for wizard is. I wonder what. Oh, wait, no. Do I know this one?
Is it like a Magus or something like that? Oh, I don't know.
Magus.
Is Magus Greek?
Sounds more Latin.
It does, yeah. It's very Latin, isn't it?
Very Latin. Oh, no.
Magus, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's modern Greek. Let's see if old Greek. Ancient
Make it
Greek
old.
or wizard.
Give me the old Greek.
Yeah, Magus. No. Maybe. Something like that.
Hey, I just met you and you're a Magus. So get in my dreams and interpret them. Thank you. Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear.
What were we saying? Have we already got off track?
We were doing the introduction.
Oh yeah, hello everyone.
Welcome.
This is a professional podcast for professional, serious science, dream interpretation, and gumph. I would like to think that, okay, so right, I'm immediately gonna go into my Roman Empire.
Oh boy.
I like, well, like one of my favorite things about reading about ancient Greece is learning the origin of words, like etymology and just little, like goofy little things, like the fact that the god Hermes could seal things without a trace. I think he could seal like specifically glass containers that didn't have any trace of a seal, and that's why things are hermetically sealed and stuff like that.
Oh,
I love those sorts of things because I'm just
cool.
like, oh. So I like to think that if I were ever to try and learn Greek, it would all just click into place, and I'd be like, I already know.
I know that one.
But I did try to learn it on Duolingo, and it didn't work like that, unfortunately.
Oh, bugger.
So I just need to learn more storybooks and it'll happen.
That's it. Just keep reading books. That's how it works.
Are you still... Were you Duolingoing Japanese for a bit?
Oh, God, yeah. Like that was a while ago. I have not touched Duolingo in such a long time. The Duolingo owl in the little icon started melting. I don't know why.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if he was just upset that I hadn't visited in a while. He was just melting there.
He's so
on the menu.
Needy.
He's so
needy. I feel
needy.
such an affinity with the Duolingo owl. Like, I wish I had his ability to reach out and message people. He's an icon. I love Duolingo.
Just a very confident king.
Yeah, just to like kick the door down of your friends and be like, oi, it's been 3 days. Where the heck are you?
Start learning. We need to know where the library is.
Uè. La biblioteca. Oh, I wish I was one of these people who... I mean, obviously, it's the same as like saying, I wish I was a talented artist. It's practice. And I know that to learn a language, you have to do practice. And you have to put so much time in. But yeah.
Instant gratification, though.
I know.
That's the best. Let me just learn the language straight away, dude.
I have some sort of mysterious hum outside of my house. I don't know what it is. Ooh. I can see it picking up on the recording.
Aliens.
And I can hear it outside. And I'm like, is that a helicopter or just... Is it the Bristol hum? Do you know about the Bristol hum?
Oh, well, yes, I was in the recording with you and it was mentioned.
Oh, yeah. There's just this strange... For those outside
But we can't say
Bristol.
where we heard that from because this episode's going out before that episode.
Oh, we're time travelers.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just meant to be this hum in parts of Bristol that people are fascinated by. Do you know what I'm fascinated by about Bristol, though? Masons.
What?
Not stonemasons, like the Masons.
As in the guild?
Yeah.
Cult?
I swear. this is now a conspiracy theory podcast.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Conspirazone. But I swear the Masons run a lot of Bristol because I was reading up about it.
I have no idea. Like, I don't really know anything about the Masons.
There was this whole thing about how, what was it? There was a place that was named after a guy who was historically not a fun guy, so everyone wanted to get it changed. You may have heard of Bristol chucking a statue into the river.
I have heard
it was
about
all to
that.
do with that, because that specific guy had
he was
a
not
event hall named after him, and everyone was like, we don't want this. But then I was reading up about the history of it trying to be changed, and there was all this stuff about how the name change had been like blocked by the Masons, and the Masons wanted to keep it. And then I was reading up about like all the different other organizations that they fund and all of this stuff. And I went down this real like rabbit hole of like, oh my gosh, it's all the Masons. They're running Bristol and all of this stuff. And now I've completely forgotten all of it. So
I feel like you're going to have Masons like hunting you down now.
I'm scared. But to be fair, Laurie did drive into the wall outside our house the other day, so I could use a Mason. If they could all just get together.
I thought you were going to say that was the Masons' fault, like sending a message.
It was the Masons.
But no, we just need a Mason to fix it.
Do you have to be a Mason to be a Mason?
I don't think so.
Oh.
The only thing that I ever think of when people mention Masons...
Is it The Simpsons?
Not The Simpsons, it's The Flintstones.
Oh!
Because he was like in something like that, right? He had the big hat. And he would go to those meetings.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. The only thing I remember from the Flintstones, it didn't charge.
He didn't charge for fixing walls.
Just did it as a hobby.
It was the Grand Poobah, apparently.
What?
I think that's what it was called. Oh, no, wait. Grand Poobah's an actual thing. Hang on. In the cartoon, forever. I don't know. It's gonna... I don't remember anything.
All I remember is that they used to go bowling a lot, and
I think you'd maybe remember it if you saw it, but yeah, like Fred and Barney would go to these meetings and they had the big blue furry hat.
Yes,
I'm trying to find out what it's called. Oh, Loyal Order of the Water Buffalo. There we go. That's what it was called. And for some reason, that in my brain, that was like a Freemason thing.
See, I always think of that episode of The Simpsons that's like, they've got that song that's like, who controls the British crown? Who keeps the metric system down?
Oh,
we
yeah.
We do. That one. That whole episode is all I really know about it. That and playing One Night Werewolf, where two of you can be Masons. And you wake up in the night and you see each other and you just have a little bit of a bond. Because I remember one of the best One Night Werewolf plays I ever did was, okay, this is a very boring story. But in Werewolf, if you are the solo werewolf, you can check one of the 3 cards in the middle. I was a solo werewolf. I checked the cards in the middle. I turned one over. It was a Mason. So I was like, okay, so morning comes and I go like, oh, silly, goofy me. I'm so sorry. I was a Mason. I forgot to wake up. The other Mason's like, I can back that up. I was a Mason, woke up. No one else woke up. And I was just like, oh, sorry, silly, goofy. And then I won. And I was like, I wasn't a Mason at all. I'm
She's
really
so
stacking
smart.
up quite the bad record with the Masons.
I have also set up a bad record because I've just looked up the Loyal Order of the Water Buffaloes, and it turns out it's nothing to do with the Freemasons. It's not even a nod towards any Freemasons, as far as I'm aware. Just as a kid, for some reason, whenever I was aware of something called the Freemasons, I just thought, yeah, Fred Flintstone was in something like that. But no.
It's a really old group. It's been going since the dinosaur times.
Exactly. And also Grand Poobah was the name of the leader of the Loyal Order of the Water Buffaloes. So that's where that came from.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, yesterday I found out that key lime pie is a pie made with key limes and not kiwi and lime. Never knew that before.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Oh. Like, honestly, I get it. That's an easy mistake
Well,
to
it
make.
just sounds like that's what it'd be, like banoffee, key lime. I was like,
Yeah.
of course it is. And yeah.
It's like...
It's one of those things that as a streamer, you often have these sorts of realizations and learning moments live in front of 100 people or more. And you have to have quite a thick skin to do that.
Last 10 minutes for me, honestly. I thought Fred Flintstone was a Freemason. Turns out he's not.
Yeah. Well, I had my... I had my belly button realization in a private conversation, but I did then share it, so that one's on me.
Belly button realization.
Oh, no.
You might have told me about it, but please refresh my memory.
So, right. So this is one of those things, I guess it's similar to your Flintstones thing. You know, when you form an idea as a child and then it's not relevant. So it's never questioned and you can just go on happily believing it all that time because why else would you look it up? You've already worked that out. So for the longest time, I thought that belly buttons were man-made. I thought it was the result of they tie the placenta and then they push it in, like tying a balloon, but they just pop it in at the end so it goes in. And I thought if you had like an outie belly button, they just hadn't pushed it in and it popped out. And I found this out, like the truth of the real truth of belly buttons, when I was talking to Trot, and I said to him, I wonder if, when the first belly button was, would cavemen have had belly buttons? And he looked at it, he was just like, of course they would. Why wouldn't they? And I was like, yeah, but how did they know back then to, like how to do that? And he was just like, what are you talking about?
What?
And then... So then I just had to be like, okay, hang on. And then he told me just how belly buttons are just a thing that happens naturally and isn't some sort of invention by Thomas F. Bellybutton, who learned how to tie them.
How, Brady?
I don't know. I honestly don't know where this first came from. And there was a time when my sister actually picked up this little thing and showed it to me and said oh, that's, my niece's. She was like, that's her belly button. And I just thought she was making a joke. And I was like, yeah, and never questioned it. And then years later, I found out.
How old were you when you found out?
34.
Shut the fuck!
This is very recent years.
Oh my God, Brady.
I just never, it never occurred to me that other animals would also have them. But yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's my Flintstones Mason.
Flintstones.
Moment.
Well, actually, you say that, but I have also done another Google.
Oh.
And apparently it could potentially be a spoof of Freemasons.
Yeah, I was thinking that a little parody type.
Yeah, the Flintstones one says this and others are spoofs of secret societies and men's clubs like the Freemasons and others. So yeah, so Fred Flintstone
really
was in fact a Freemason. Confirmed.
The belly button thing is just me.
Just you, yeah.
I feel like there are people must have those sorts of things. Please tell me people have these sorts of things.
Oh, I'm sure I've got stuff like that where I've just thought that something was one way for the longest time and just never questioned it. I guess one of the big things that my chat would probably say is one time I was doing a baking stream, and the recipe needed a tablespoon. And I had a pretty big serving spoon. It wasn't a teaspoon, it wasn't a dessert spoon. It was one size up from that. And I was like, this is a tablespoon because it's what you use to serve food at a table. And chat was like, no, that's not a tablespoon. A tablespoon is a dessert spoon. And I was like,
it's
what?
A spoon, it's on the table. What do you want?
And I had the biggest argument with chat about how the big one was a tablespoon. And it was not, apparently. That was not the case. But honestly, I still think it kind of is, but I don't think I am right.
Yeah.
Turns out tablespoon is a lot smaller than I thought. And I didn't know that until like 2 years ago.
It is just like I was saying, like, I guess everyone must have these like silly, goofy things that you don't realize. But the thing is, often when you do realize them, the nature of coming across the pivotal knowledge is that you have to have it in front of someone else or in front of many people in a recorded on the internet fashion.
Yeah. That's our curse. That's our curse. We have to, if we have anything that we think is true, it probably isn't, and chat will tell us about it.
Or like
fail.
reading a word out for the first time live on a stream.
So that's not how you say it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh no. The number of times I like got to a word and just been like, I don't want to say this because I don't know if I say it. But it's like blooming asparagus. When
I still can't get over asparagus.
So for those who don't know, when I was little, I had never seen the word asparagus before, and I don't think I'd really heard of asparagus. And my parents said to me, oh, can you just check the soup library, which is what we call where we keep our soup, and to see what flavors we've got for lunch. So I was just like, cream of asparagus, because that's how I read it out. And instead of correcting me, my parents just called it asparagus for years, literally years. Instead of being like, no, darling,
no, that's not how
it's asparagus.
No, it's asparagus.
Thankfully, with that one, I heard someone say it. I can't remember. I think someone was like reading out a menu or something, and I heard someone say it, and I was like, hang on, asparagus. That's how you say that word. But before then, it was like, I remember having reading groups at school and reading out words, and, you know, the teacher having to correct you in front of everyone and stuff like that. Like the winding staircase. They climbed up the winding staircase.
The winding staircase. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like, sometimes there are things that you've only ever like read and you've never heard them out loud. It's like one of the classic ones, I think, is like reading like Harry Potter and not knowing how to say Hermione.
Yeah.
Like, I think I always read it as like Hermione or something.
I think for the longest time I would read, in my head, I would read archive.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I still do.
Storing things in the archive.
Yeah, I still do. It didn't help that there used to be, and there probably still is actually, a website for artists or like art, like research, called Archive. But it's spelt Archive.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's an archive then. But we used to use that a lot for school. It's like, well, it's archive, right? No,
yeah.
No, that's not it. That's not what it is. Words.
I think this is just like the blooming downfall of not having a phonetical language.
True.
Because you don't know, like, is it going to be like when, you know, Zelda came out, and is it Tears of the Kingdom? Is it Tears of the Kingdom? I don't know. It could be either. It's
true.
Yeah. It's just, what are the rules?
What are the rules?
Well, the rules of this podcast is that we listen to dreams.
That's true.
And so we shall do
good segue.
As such. Good segue. Let me just cue you one up for you. Cue away. So I've got one from last month and one from this month. So I guess should we do it in archive order?
Oh yeah, do you want to do February first? Okay.
February.
And I have a little dream that I can talk about in the middle, if you like, just to split it up, be a sandwich.
Nice. Very good. I have absolutely no memory of what this dream is. So
good.
This will be a first for both of us.
Perfect.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I had a dream that I was in this field and I had to try and help get this horse into a little pen.
and they released the horse from the wood, and it started like absolutely pouring it down, and all of these like wolves and Labradors ran out of the woods as well. So I was like running down the field, because the only way I knew to get the horse in was by placing a single crisp inside the pen. So I was just running along this field in the pouring rain, holding up this crisp, and I went to go and put it into the pen, and there was just this little white fluffy wolf in there that was asleep, and I was like, oh, is this okay to, like, is this going to be an angry wolf? So I just started giving them belly rubs, and they were fine. And then all of a sudden I was in a classroom, but it was also sort of like the vets, because people were like trying to work, and everyone was doing this test where they had to fill out like a mock interview, I think. But I missed it, and then all of a sudden everyone was handing theirs in, and then I picked up this envelope, and the teacher saw me pick it up, and they were like, that's your test, you've not even done it, I'll have to do it with you now. And I was sitting down to do the test, but then everything changed again, and all of a sudden I was just like, one of the old vets I used to work with was there, and they were like a model or something, and they were talking about wanting to get fitter as I don't know, it was it all sort of blurred towards the end, but yeah, there you go. Bye bye.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
A short one, but all over the place.
A short one, but one of the big things was having an exam or something in there that you had not done. School, again.
Yeah. Blooming school.
I'm scarred for life.
I feel like I'm going to look up horses. I feel like we must have looked up horses before. Animals. Horse. Oh my gosh, the horse section is big. The horse in a dream represents the energy at the dreamer's disposal. Oh, it's got all the different... I didn't mention what colour horse it was, did I? I just said that the wolf was white. I don't remember the horse, though.
Yeah, I can't remember.
If the horse is being harnessed to a cart, no. There's so many things. There's like a pale horse, a brown horse, a winged horse, under strain or dying, in a man's dream, in a woman's dream.
What about just a horse?
Just a haunt. It just says the energy at the dreamer's disposal. So I guess I was running along. That's like quite a... you know, I had a lot of energy in the dream, not in real life. Yeah, I remember like running through this field. I wonder if I look at wolf, actually, because the wolves were chasing us. And Labradors. The wolves and the Labradors.
So many animals. Well, the Labradors chasing you too.
Yeah, they were all like one, like a big pack of wolves
babies.
and Labradors.
Cute.
Dreaming of wolves may indicate that we are being threatened by others, whether singly or by the pack. The dreamer may have cruel, sadistic fantasies without taking responsibility for them.
Whoa.
I was just rubbing their tummy. I just gave them a little belly rub.
Okay.
My cruel plan coming to fruition. Who's a good boy?
Who's a good boy? Oh, beautiful boy. My plan has worked. I can pet the dog.
Oh my gosh. I don't really know what, so what I think the rest of the dream was about is around this time, I think I would have seen, or maybe just like the week before this, I would have seen two friends who are now qualified vet nurses. Like one of them had just passed her OSCEs, which is like the final exam to becoming a vet nurse. Mm-hmm. And so we met up to celebrate that and to have dinner together and just be like, yay, your exams are done. And the other one has now since done hers as well. But we've not heard the results. So for me, because I started doing streaming and my current life trajectory, from being furloughed from the vet during COVID, there's always this sort of like, it feels like one of those, what's it, like parallel universe, that sort of thing. There's that split point where part of me is probably off in some other parallel world, and they carried on doing the vet stuff and maybe became a vet nurse. And then this one that I'm living now said, no, I'm staying home. I'm going to try streaming, and is now where I am now. So there's always that sort of part of me that thinks like, what if I had have carried it on? Would I have been qualified by now? Would I have left it for a different reason? Would I, that sort of stuff. So I think it was just that, like having that exam that I hadn't done, because obviously I've not done that exam and gone down that path. So I reckon it was just that, like.
Right. Yeah, just like the thought that they were off doing these things and you've sort of gone a different direction.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I wonder if, in a way, like being chased by wolves, I mean, maybe that is having like chat.
It's always chat. It always boils down to chat.
Like a group of baying hounds. I mean, there's like, group that's following you, but then, I gave belly rubs. Maybe it's like, oh, this isn't so bad, sort of thing. I don't know. I wonder if it's to do with that. Because I do remember talking about the specific vet that was in my dream. I do remember talking about them when I met up with those friends. He was a strange fella. Everyone thought that he was rude. But right. I think he was just very individual.
Oh.
I can appreciate how he would come across as rude. He's just very like straightforward, no filter. But when I go back, he is like one of the only vets that will recognize me and say hello.
Aww.
And he say hello in a real like he's a bit like I imagine Benedict Cumberbatch would be.
Right.
Very serious-faced, very matter-of-fact, not very people skills, like that sort of person. But I think in a harmless way.
I get it, yeah.
So I wonder if like him being there was like, I don't know, like the seriousness of decision or something. I don't know what having this very stony-faced person would mean. Mm-hmm. But he was a model as well, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you were just thinking about just like work in general, right? Like, and it's just, here, have all of these things. It's another one of those, I guess it would be anxiety. I guess it's anxiety if you're being chased by wolves in the first place, but...
Well, I wasn't worried for me. I was worried about getting the horse into the pen with the crisp that I had to place. Because the horse would only follow the crisp for some reason. In that good old-fashioned dream logic way. But one of the interesting things I've just realized about this is I do vaguely remember the beginning bit, but I was actually like properly running along. Whereas I think normally if I'm running in dreams, it's that real slow, painful run where you're not getting anywhere. Whereas I think this was quite a freeing
gallop. Yeah. It wasn't like the Spider-Man gif where it's like, run! And he's just sort of there. Not really Yeah. No, I feel that. Yeah, I get that a lot in dreams with the slow running. Yeah, I mean, I wonder like how that comes about, honestly, because it's similar to the flying. Like we've talked about flying in dreams before too, right? And it's like,
yeah,
I think you've had it before, and I often have it where if I want to fly in a dream, I have to do like the Mario 64 triple jump.
See, that's why I tried it. When I realized I was dreaming, and I thought, Kirsty says it's a triple jump, so I'm going to try this. And I did it and it didn't work. And then I woke up because I was like, well.
Oh, so you did it because of me?
Yeah, like I was so aware of my dream that I just remembered like, what was it Kirsty said I must do? I must triple jump. And it didn't work. I've never flown in a dream.
I've only flown properly in a dream once, I think.
Yeah.
But the Mario triple jump often doesn't work that well. That's the thing. Like it's very much like when you fly in Mario 64 and you don't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I blame Nintendo for that one.
We need to play some. What's that flying game? Is it called like Feather or something, where you're just floating around?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Need to play some of that just before bed. And there was like a PlayStation game that was one of those. Doesn't really have like a point to it, and it is just floating around in different shapes and stuff, and it's just very like it's meant to just be a very calming game.
Okay.
I can't remember what that one was called. But yeah, just play something like that before bed. Fly around.
Just fly around a bit and then
It
you'll
might
be away.
seep in.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, it sounds like it was like a self-doubt kind of anxiety dream. You need to be proud and stuff. I don't need to tell you. Don't need to hear me tell you what to think. But I love you is what I'm trying to say. I love you so much.
Well, I feel like the energy that I ran into the dream with, like running along with the horse, like, whoa, maybe it was a sign that I'm okay with my decision. I think it's so difficult in life to not have that sense of like, but what if?
What if I did this?
It's such a dangerous thing because you can waste so much time with what ifs and
absolutely
put things off for so long and stuff like that. But you just got to do.
Yeah, I feel that. It's like lately we've, in a couple of our episodes, I've ended up just going off about like animals and animal welfare and stuff. And I'm like, geez, maybe I should have carried on doing that.
Yeah.
Because goddamn, I can talk about it all day. But at the same time, I also love what I do now. So it's just, and if I'd carried on doing that, then I never would have met with you and Rithian and everybody. And it's just, like, it's good. It's a good thing.
I think it's just like tough with when you've got like so many things like games and books and stuff where these like ways that you can peek into other lives and for a little moment you can live that other life. And then when you don't have that in real life, you're like, I can't just pop in and see what it's like to be a pilot for a day. And I can't see what it's like to live in a small fishing village, or it's just you have to have your not limited options, because I'm very happy with my life, but I guess you also have to accept that you're not gonna be an astronaut unless you're an astronaut.
Yeah, no, I get it. But
you can play astronaut games.
Exactly, and that's more than people used to be able to do.
Yeah. So. Whereas like I read so much Jane Austen, and back in those days, the choice was learn embroidery or the pianoforte or be poor.
Or just die. I left the window open. I died of a chill.
Yes. I have a cold. Fetch the leeches. Bleed
Goodbye.
Me. The end. It's like I've been reading this book that is about a voyage that took place in 1740. And oh my gosh, like reading it, and they're like, firstly, so many people didn't want to be on these ships at all. They were like press ganged into it. Yeah. Like people would go around looking for any men that had tar on their hands, because that was a sign that they worked with ships. And then they would just drag them to the ships and send them off to sea for years. And when they got there, it was like horrendous. There was like scurvy and all these other seasickness, and like they get shipwrecked, and all of it. It's genuinely a fascinating book. I'm glad I read it. It's called The Wager. For anyone interested in reading a very depressing historical book, I would recommend it. But I was reading it whilst I had a cold, and there's me feeling sorry for myself, and then reading about people with scurvy and like their bodies are just disintegrating whilst they're still alive and stuff. And I was like, yeah, no, I guess they had it quite bad.
Yeah, this feels bad.
I am quite bunged up though.
But I also have a runny nose.
It's just amazing what people endured.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is crazy. Like, But we can play video games to experience that.
That's true. Just play. I'm sure there's an Assassin's Creed or something that will relive the experience.
Yeah. Oh my god, that reminds me. Bringing it back to Pathfinder chat, which I always do, but very briefly. You know that my character in Rydian's campaign got tetanus and then Black Plague.
Oh yes.
And I managed to get through both of those. I had a bit of a scare last session when I got, like, we were fighting like this big plant that was like spitting up acid and stuff. Ooh. And then me and Zoe both had to do fortitude saves and we failed them. And then we had to do it again. And it was like, oh no, this feels like a disease is on the horizon. And I failed my save and I was like, that's it. Disease number 3. Here we go. Thanks, Rydian. What am I going to get now? Turns out it wasn't a disease, thankfully. But in that moment, I was like, boy, here we go again.
Yeah.
I cannot stop catching diseases.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my gosh. It's so silly. So silly.
Speaking of books and adventures.
Oh, yes.
You, Kirsty of Comfort Zone, had a dream Lord of the Rings themed?
I did. Bryony has heard this dream, but you have not, listener. Because I dreamt it a while ago before I went on holiday with the lovely Bryony, a lovely cat. So I'll regale it for your benefit. So, in my dream, I was on a tour of the Lord of the Rings set with Cat, Strike, and my friend Elliot from school. And they had just released the movies again on whatever the most high quality version of video is, but probably even more so. So like super 4000K HD. Yeah. And it was so this dream happened not long after they were talking about like old Star Trek episodes on Discord and how like, oh, you can see the boom mic there and you can see how that, piece of equipment is made out of an old broom handle and stuff like that. So in my dream, it was like, oh, they've been released on this format. But now, because they're like 20 years old plus, you can see all of the errors and like you can see the wig lines and the whatever and the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So we were on this set tour because the set was somehow still there 24 years later, and we walked into this room and it was just an office. Like, it was literally just an office space. Like, it was a narrow room. They had a water cooler and 2 people standing next to it. And it was like, oh, they're Arwen and Aragorn. And they were just there, like, wearing a suit and a tie and, like, a pencil skirt and just a little blazer. It was like, yeah, that's Arwen and Aragorn. And they had, like, a whiteboard on the wall and stuff. And we were just standing there like, yeah, it really doesn't look as good in person, does it? And this whole time we were looking for a certain prop. So in my dream, in the movies, whenever there was a shot of Gollum from a distance, they would use just like a statue or a figurine. It was just like a big lump of a figurine, almost like a low poly version of Gollum.
Yeah.
But real life. And we were like, we have to find low poly Gollum. So we were looking around and we found it and it just looked like a big lump with some eyes. And we were like, there he is. Oh my God. It's low poly Gollum. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I can't remember if there was anything else I told you, but yeah, that was more or less what happened in the dream. It was just really stupid.
Yeah.
And yeah, Gollum just looked like a little like toad, but really low quality.
It just reminds me of I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but in the first series of Lost that has the polar bear?
I never watched Lost, but I've heard about the polar bear. Yeah.
It was just a big, like, basically it's such a blurry shot of a polar bear like jumping out at them. But when you watch it, I think they did go back and redo it. But when you first watched it, if you paused, they literally just had a massive cuddly toy polar bear that they just threw at the camera.
That's so funny.
And it's just so goofy when you see it. But it just reminds me of that, like this little just.
Oh my God. Jeez. I think another part of it as well is that sometimes I watch a YouTube channel called Boundary Break, and basically this guy just goes around video games and moves the camera where they shouldn't be and stuff like that. So often they get to see characters that have not loaded in yet or are in the distance. And yeah, that is what they are. Like if there's something that's really far away, it's just going to be like a lump in a vague shape of what it's supposed to look like. So that's what low poly Gollum came from, I think. And it was like, oh, there he is. There's our boy.
Oh, bless.
Oh my God. So yeah, that was it. But I know why like it ended up happening, I think, because yeah, like on Discord they were talking about this episode of something where they were talking about Star Trek like that. Boundary Break probably came into it as well.
Yeah.
And it was probably not long before going away with you and Kat as well. So Kat was there too. When I told Kat, she did say, she was like, I love that the only thing that you relate to me is just Gollum. Yeah.
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 You do get these things where, like, I guess if they were originally intended for 4:3 and then they get shown on, you know, in modern ratios, and you do just see like the edge of frame has just changed, and you do get a lot more like dodgy things.
There's lots of stuff on the side that shouldn't be there.
There's so much of it in the first season of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, really?
Just like crew in reflections. They've got these like glass fronted cabinets in their house and you can see them in there. And yeah.
Yeah,
or just like little
good.
boobs popping in at the top.
It's another similar thing is there's a subreddit called That's a Booklight, and they basically they take screenshots from stuff like TV shows like Doctor Who and Star Trek and Star Wars and stuff like that, and they try and figure out what the prop is made of.
Okay. Because
it's stuff like, you know, oh, the sonic screwdriver is made out of this part of an electric toothbrush, and this whatever. A gonk droid is 2 IKEA boxes stacked on top of each other, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. It's really interesting. It's so cool stuff that, like, you know, prop designers can come up with just with picking up random shite.
Well, when I was in university, one of the projects that we had to do was recreating a still from a film. So you did have to do that sort of, I mean, truth be told, it was a group project and it was a nightmare.
Oh, group projects always are.
I was outvoted on so I wanted to do something from this film called The Science of Sleep, because the set design on that is amazing and it would have been so much fun to recreate. But no, they wanted to do a shot from the movie Blow. And the one they chose was like a full-on shot of Johnny Depp. Mm-hmm. And bear in mind, we had to recreate it. So we had to find like a Johnny Depp lookalike.
Oh my
God.
God.
This like 70s shirt that he was wearing and all of this stuff. And I was like, why have you done this? And it just, it was horrible.
Oh my God.
But like in the study I did up until the point where I had to work with other people, it was very interesting because it was just like looking at things and being like, how would I do this? And some of the other people's ones were really good. There was someone who recreated a shot from, oh my gosh, the name is No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
There's a shot where I think the guy like stands on either a toilet or a sink or something, and he's peering into this like little vent. So they had to like build the whole of the vent to have the camera looking through it, to have the set in the background and all of this stuff. And that one was really cool. But yeah, ours was a disaster.
Oh,
but set design is amazing. I miss working on sets. And there's recently been a lot of filming going on in Queen Square. So every time I'm heading into the office and I'm just looking at all like the camera vans and I'm trying to get a peek at the camera and being like, what are they doing? What's going on? Will they take me back?
When I was like in sixth form and stuff, like one of the things I did kind of start looking into was like set design and prop design and stuff. Like props especially, I would love to do stuff like that, to just make stuff out of other stuff, like this kind of thing.
Do you want to do? Okay, right. This is crazy. But bear with me. I watch a YouTube channel called Studson Studio, who is like a model maker, and they make models out of trash, and they're amazing. But recently, it wasn't that recently. I watched it recently, but it's an old video. They did one from. They basically made their house, but in the style of Jurassic Park, and they showed there was one summer when they were a child where them and their cousins made a shot-for-shot recreation of Jurassic Park on home video.
Oh my God.
And I really want to do it. So can we remake Jurassic Park?
Sure. Let's
Perfect. Because I was thinking it could be like when Mark and Sam and Tom, when they did Foley Ship, where they like recreated Fellowship of the Rings from memory, but could we do it with Jurassic Park?
I would have to watch Jurassic Park again because I've already seen it once.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'd always be up for watching it.
We'd have to make all the dinosaur noises.
Yes.
Is this going to be like our new stream? Just
yes.
What would you call it? They had Foley Ship of the Ring. What are you gonna call the Jurassic Park one?
Jurassic Pals. I don't know.
What if you turn Park backwards and it's Jurassic Crab?
What if it was in our old theme of having, her in everything we do, Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park.
Actually, that sounds a bit dodgy with just harass.
Yeah, it does. Jurassic. Oh dear.
Is there a rude version of Jurassic Park? Oh, it's probably called like Jurassic Pork or something, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think that's probably it, actually.
Yeah. Jurassic Perks. Anyway. That was Kirsty's dream.
It was. Well, now we have a new thing to do.
Yeah, that's our next project.
I'm just looking at r/that's a book light to find a good one to show you.
If you were going to recreate, like if a group of us got together and said, let's recreate this film, you can choose which part you're going to play. What film and what part would you want to do? I was going to ask you for Jurassic.
Do I have to act, or can I be in the background? Like,
you have to act. You have to on the starring voiced role.
Oh,
actually, I guess it doesn't have to have voice lines, but it has to be a recognizable part.
But I have to act, right? Okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
You're thinking of the character that's most like you in real life, so you don't.
I think I'd want to be something like in a costume.
Yeah.
Like
T-Rex.
if we did Pan's Labyrinth, I'd be the
hand
faceless man. Yeah, the hand man.
Oh my god!
Except I'd be a lot more thick.
He's like a fleshy Grinch. That man. Same energy.
Same energy, yeah. He's there to steal your Christmas presents.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd want to be in costume. Give me something where I'm in like a proper costume. What if like it was a horror movie and I was like Freddy Krueger?
Perfect.
Or what other like famous costumed things are there?
I mean, often when we have guests on, we do sort of break into their dreams. So maybe that would be quite
Oh my god,
fitting.
True. You can be young Johnny Depp and I'll be Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, next time we do a live episode, we should dress up.
I'll just be Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would just be that.
I'll dress up as just a baseball player from Field of Dreams. Very different tones.
Oh my god, The thought of turning up to a very chill, like, comfort zone recording live dressed as Freddy Krueger has just tickled me so much. I have to do it.
I saw this video the other day of, have you seen, there's this person on like TikTok and I'm sure other places, but they dress up as, what's he called? The starey face man. He's in Dead by Daylight.
Starey face man.
I think he's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre baddie, maybe. What's he called?
I never watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He plays. I think he has the barbecue and chili perk in Dead by Daylight. Is that or is that
Leatherface?
Yeah.
Okay.
Him. Someone's dressed as him, and someone else is dressed as. Well, it's usually just them, and they do just funny dances, but dressed up like that. But they had one recently that was in a desert, and it was them dressed as him and someone else dressed as Freddy Krueger, and they're dancing to like Beyonce's new, like, This Ain't Texas, like the country song. It's just them doing these little like booty cowgirl dances.
Oh my god. It's kind of like when Britney did like the knife thing on TikTok or Instagram, and I think was it someone dressed as Freddy Krueger that did it, or was it? No, it's Michael Myers. Even
that's the guy. That is not Leatherface. Michael Myers. Yeah, it's them.
I want to do a comfort zone dressed as Freddy Krueger.
I'm here for it.
We need to get you a costume.
Yep. Just it has to be a complete like opposite. Is there like a Care Bear or something that's to do with dreams? It has to be the complete opposite vibes to Freddy Krueger.
Characters related to dreams. See, let's get you a wholesome one. Cosmic Owl from Adventure Time.
Oh, they're
apparently.
Quite intense, I think.
Rick from Rick and Morty.
My guttural response.
Yep. Most iconic anime characters who can manipulate dreams.
Oh.
There's got to be like a My Little Pony, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Something very,
Is there a dream
like
pony?
Dreamacorn or something.
They had some dream My Little Ponies in the original series from the 90s, apparently.
Aww, I'll be one of them.
They might have been changed, but
I'll dress up as a pony. You can be Freddy Krueger.
You can be a pony, yeah. Nice.
Would you like to hear my second dream, or should we save it?
Oh, how much time do we have? 55.
All the time in the world.
I don't know.
We can do a speed analysis.
A little speed run?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
I had a dream that I'd gone to see this film called Cry, but it was spelled Chry. And I didn't realise it was meant to be like a cinema experience thing. So I sat down, we were at like the very back of the cinema. And Danny Pudi was in front of us, but he was facing us and he kept like being in the way of the screen. So I was trying to lean around him, but then on the screen was Danny Pudi sat in a cinema seat. And that was part of like the interactive cinema. And then all of a sudden, like certain people in the audience started to like glow this weird, it was like they turned into like white and pink morph suits, and they then like ran out of the cinema. And then the voiceover was like, you may notice some of you starting to change as well. And when you look down at your hand, they were like shining this light that looked the same as the glowing people onto like where your hands were to make it look as if you were about to change as well. And then something else happened that made like 200 other people run out of the cinema until there was only like 7 of us left. And I suddenly realised that every other person in the cinema had been a paid actor, and it was just the 7 of us left for the actual experience. And they were meant to like give us this talk or something at the end, or you went into this other room that had all these props or something. But I was like, Alex had left at the beginning of it. So I was like, no, I want Alex to experience it. So I was like, oh, I'll just wait in the... No, Alex was like, we'll just wait in the cinema, sneak into 2 of the seats where the paid actors are, and, you know, we can just see it all again. And I was like, oh no, because what if, like, they've got certain things that are chosen for different seats and we have to run out and we miss it all again. But then it cut to us being in a dinosaur museum, and I was looking at fossils, and all I remember is that I was talking to someone and I walked downstairs. That bit is very vague. But then it cut to, it was mine and Alex's anniversary, and we had chosen to have like a vow renewal ceremony. So I was like dressed in this fancy dress and everyone was around, and I wanted to read the guest book, like people had signed the guest book or given us cards or something, but Alex had to go somewhere, and I was just sort of waiting for him to get back so we could read the nice messages together. But yes, that's all I remember, I think. Oh no, there was something about my sister. No, it's all gone. It's all it's all fizzling away as we start the day. Bye bye.
It is fizzling away.
All fizzling away.
I know what this dream was about.
Fossils!
Oh.
You dreamt of fossils.
Fossil. Oh, yeah. Well, this was quite
on the way.
delayed fossil dreamage. But yes, there was some fossils. But yes, it was.
But yes.
I have been watching Avatar, the live action remake.
Oh, the Netflix one?
Yes.
Is it any good? I've heard bad things.
Well, it has Danny Pudi in it. So that's why he was in the dream. It's okay. It's one of those things that I would be very sad if anyone watched it first.
Yes.
If they, yeah. It's one of those things that it's nice as a sort of like, it's a lot faster paced than the cartoon. Like they travel, cartoon, I guess you should say, animation. But so they like travel through places instead of like spending a whole episode on a story. They like do like 3 episodes worth of traveling. So it's like a nice like, oh, I remember that. But it doesn't compare. Better than the M. Night Shyamalan film, which let's pretend doesn't even exist. But nowhere near.
I still have not even watched that. I refuse.
Yeah. It's it is well cast. There's one character that I'm a bit like, I don't see it yet. But I'm willing to wait.
Apparently they cut out some of like the really good plot development too, like, or character development rather.
Yeah.
Like with Suki and Sokka, and like, apparently Suki's just a massive horn dog for Sokka now, and
there's like that whole element is like they apparently did this thing where they were like, oh, we don't want Sokka to be like sexist, but it's like, but what is the point of having character development if you've got nothing to develop from?
Exactly. Now he's just a dick.
Because it's not like he was ever sexist in a way that was like, yeah, what a good guy. Like, he's the butt of the joke when he does those things. We're laughing at him, not with him. So it's
exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it was a problem that needed fixing.
Yeah, one of the big things that I've heard said is that they were like, oh, we'll take the sexism out, blah, blah, blah. And then that completely just ruined the whole Suki thing, where it's like, you know, he comes to respect Suki and what she does, and, you know, and that's why she falls for him and stuff. But in this, it's like, oh, he has a 6-pack. Yeah. He's hot.
Yeah. And because it is so much quicker paced, it is just, everything is very much like, it feels more like a recap in parts where it's like, oh yeah, I remember they went to this town. Oh, and yeah, I remember this character they meet 5 episodes later, but here they are, next scene sort of thing. It is very condensed.
How many episodes are there right now?
I don't know. I've only seen 3.
Okay, because I've seen like pictures of like King Boomy and stuff, and that's from the second book. Like, so they're already like powering away, but there's no Toph, right? Toph's not in the series yet.
The 2nd or 3rd episode, he's in it. Yeah, precisely.
Huh?
Yeah.
What the? What?
It's very.
That's weird. And there's no Toph. Toph is just not in the series yet, and yet they've seen Boomy. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
It is a strange one.
That's odd pacing. Very weird.
Yeah.
It feels like it's going to be zipping all over the shop.
But with this dream, I know what the majority of it was about. I know that part was just me thinking Danny Pudi because I had seen him. But it was because I had just found out that. So this is a few days before my birthday, and I had just found out that Alex had to go into work on my birthday when originally he had booked it off and we'd planned to spend the day together. He got called into work. So I think that's why it was just like, firstly, there was a part where I was at the cinema on my own because Alex had left and I didn't get to experience it with him. And then there was a bit where we're having like this little renewal of vows and I want to read the nice things people have written, but he's not there. And I think it was literally just that. I think I just felt abandoned. And my brain was just putting me in situations to be abandoned in.
No.
Just to rub it in.
Aww.
Yeah, I think that was just it.
Feels bad.
Yeah. The whole like cinema experience thing was pretty cool though. In Cry.
Yeah, that does sound fun.
Very on the
Cry.
nose naming by my brain there. Go and see a movie. Cry.
Let's go to Cry and see a movie.
Because it was all like interactive cinema. But yeah, it was just weird how the people it was like they were wearing like glowing morph suits that were like glowing white and yellow and pink.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just very, very strange. I don't know what any of that part meant. It was just odd. I can't think what that would have been like.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Yeah. Don't know what it would have been referring to. I mean, I did watch, it wasn't particularly related, but I did watch the, what's it called? Like the Royal Science Institute lectures that they have on the BBC every year.
Okay.
And I was watching it and I was thinking, this is another thing about pathways and missed opportunities and stuff. They are always done exclusively in front of child audiences because it's like science for children. It's like interesting things and they do these little experiments and they get volunteers down and all of that stuff. And whenever I watch them, there is a little part of me that goes, I'll never be there because I'm too old. I'm like, I want them to do adult science talks, but on the same level, but I get to go and be a volunteer and sort trash to demonstrate how AI works and stuff like that. There was one this year that was so funny. This because it was all about AI and stuff, and this boy went down as a volunteer, and he had to like answer questions about like, do you think an AI like could a robot tidy your messy room and stuff? And they had like thrown loads of stuff out and been like, could an AI sort this? And at the end he was like, can I keep the ball? And he got to keep this like football. And then like 10 minutes later into the lecture, you just hear this like ding, 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 and you just see the ball rolling across the stage in the background. It's just let it go.
Oh my God.
Just sat there fidgeting with it the whole time and then just let it slip out.
Oh my God. That would be me.
Yeah. Dear, oh dear. But yeah, that
Dear,
was
oh
just
dear.
it tried to be a fancy dream, but it was a straightforward.
It was a straightforward, I'm sad Alex is at work.
Yeah, very much.
And also Avatar and fossils.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just so it's not all bad. And Danny Pudi, because it seems like a lovely guy.
I promise I will have more dreams for next time.
Well,
They seem to be coming back. I just can't remember them yet.
you say
But
this.
we'll see. Oh?
But next time is a very exciting episode.
True.
So make sure you listen to next week's episode. Obviously, this is only very relevant for when this goes out. If you're listening in the future, I mean, listen to it anyway. It's nice.
Listen to all of them.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go back from the start. There will be a test at the end. I mean, we've forgotten everything we've said, but still.
Yep. The test will be easy because we just repeat ourselves every week.
Yeah, true. But next week we have two very lovely guests who will be joining us. Spoiler alert, we've already recorded this. This is recorded out of order, so I can tell you for a fact that it was fun to do. Don't have to pretend.
Yep.
So yeah, make sure you tune in for that. And we get a week off of dreaming. So we have plenty of time to
Stock up.
restock the dream bank.
Get my Freddy Krueger outfit.
Yes, that too. Well, a question for this time is, what ridiculous belief have you had from childhood? Please tell me so I don't feel as bad. Make one up just to make me feel better if you have to. I'm fine with that.
But don't tell her that you made it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsty, for a lovely
Thank you,
chat.
Bryony.
And
yes.
until next time, bye-bye
Bye-bye
for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.